Okay, what is good, guys? It is your boy Brad back again with another video, 3 days in a row here. And I have a bike check for you today. This is an interesting one. It may have some parts on the bike that I have used on other builds. However, this is all for sale now. I am currently building a few completes up with some of the parts that I've had for a while and selling them. This is actually a flat ground build. I guess it's kind of a newer term in BMX, but it's kind of like half street, half flatland type of build. So a lot of crossover stuff going on these days, but we are here in the RPO lab cooking a new one up. So let me get down to it. Right here, we have a fit Benny V2 frame, 20-inch top tube. And I'll get down to why the geometry is what it is and how it fits to the style of riding that that it's meant for. So we got a 20-inch top tube. What's kind of cool about this build, even though it's one of their first builds from Taiwan, they did a really nice job. These are, if you can see, the down tube kind of like goes into like a cool, this is called a swedged top tube. And they say the chain stays are also swedged. So usually if you take like a cloth or something, you wrap it around like a circular and you run in your fingers down, you can feel as the metal gets thinner and wider. Or in this case, you can feel the metal kind of ovalize, which is kind of cool. They say it makes it stronger, but it's still kind of a cool look to it. Then it also has the integrated seat clamp with fit embossed on it, which is super cool. And the matte black with this kind of like shine to it. I've noticed some of the frames the paint jobs haven't, like, my buddy got a new Credence. I love the Credence, but I did notice the paint job, and that's an S&M frame. So this came from Taiwan, but yeah, it's just what it didn't seem quite to the standards of what they used to be. But I do understand that, especially with the BMX economy the way it is. I'd rather they skimp a little on paint and keep the metal the same rather than skimp on the metal and make sure the paint looks good, which sounds like what most people would do, but hopefully not BMX, and they don't seem to. So if that is the case, good for them. But if not, then bad for them. But okay, so we have an 8.25 standover or seat tube length from here to here, nice and short. And then this is an Odyssey tripod seat, the monogram seat that came out in 2013. It has none of the holes in the top that pivotals have. And at the time, it was like considered really innovative. It has this nice leather grippy feel to it. And it was also, it's 135 millimeters, which at the time was like an inch or two longer than most seat posts. So ergo, good for flatland, because people didn't always run their seat posts high, like our guys from Switzerland. Or yeah, like our guys from Switzerland, Crew 22. But just the Flatlanders did. They used it for a lot of their tricks. So moving on. It has a really nice head tube. I believe it is 75.5 degrees, which when the frame came out is considered pretty steep. And it has a really cool engraving on it. I'm hoping you guys can check that one out. Benny is the man, by the way, street god legend. He did send me a message when I posted this up on Instagram. Love the frame. So hopefully I can sell it. If not, and this thing just stays here, frame's going to Eddie, man. Hopefully it goes to him at some point anyway. I just wish we could see someone, shred on it. So back to the parts. We have a nice set of long Sean Mercani Colt grips. I just like those. I think they look really nice with this. If I carried S&M, I'd probably have Hoder grips here, but since I carry the Colt, these are kind of like closest thing. Although he no longer rides for Colt. The bars are the Fly Fuego bars. These are Devin Smiley's signature bars from ago. He no longer rides for Fly, but the bars are still Fly. So 9-inch rise, nice 4-piece. They're super light, especially for a 4-piece. These might be the lightest 4-piece bars I've ever seen. But as I had, it's only like a 9-inch rise, 28-inch width too, which is like perfect width. Just, I think they came a little wider, but I like 28 seems perfect. Stem is a made in USA stem. This is a company called Tangent, and they've been making stems for a while. CNC'd stem, 45 millimeters of reach, which is on the short side. It also can be inverted, as you can see, but the reach is from here to the center of this here. If you ever wanted to double check it, this is called the Tangent split stem. This is kind of like a mid-school stem, which is nice because it's all like 7075 aluminum steel bolting. One thing to notice on your bolts, if your bolts have a little rust on them, that's not always a bad thing. That means usually like they're steel. I mean, it does mean they're steel. Trying to get the likes out of here. But anyway, I digress. On to the headset, which I think looks super sweet with this because Benny did ride for Animal. And this is the Animal Highliner headset with a nice polished spacer here that kind of makes it, I don't know, it just gives it a nice look, I think. And dropping down to, these are the Primo HD forks with a 13 millimeter offset. Primo, I may have discussed these also in another video, but were definitely ahead of their time when they created these forks. Spin this around. You can see the logo right in there. And for them to come out with something so responsive, such a steep fork back then, that was, you know, kind of cool. That I think that like Primo has always been a little bit ahead of the game when it comes to that stuff. So shout out Primo. All right, moving on. Why am I able to do this? Because this frame has no brakes. So what I mean by no brakes is you cannot put brakes on this. This is a brakeless frame. Benny designed it because he knew most people weren't going to be using brakes with it. So he made a brakeless frame. This is the exact kind of frame he would ride. So if you run brakes, you're SOL, or you can drill yourself a hole and probably hook your own on if you really like, but you probably would just get your own flatland bike, by the way. And speaking of flatland, Arctic bikes, I've been checking out some of their stuff on Instagram. If you look up like Arctic bikes, they have a sick selection of like flatland, like all titanium type stuff, like probably like $5,000 bikes and whatnot with carbon fiber and titanium. So I just like the plastic bar ends, especially for a flatland bike, because you're going to be practicing and dropping it a lot. So plastic's probably the way to go. And these has come with some nice ones. All right. We were at the Steep Forks by Primo. And then I began talking about the frame being brakeless. The chainstay is length in the back is, it tops out at 13.1 and it doesn't have much space. I think it's 12.7 to 13.1, which is 4 millimeters is really short for this. So you kind of want to get it just right, which takes a half link chain. And right here I have a Shadow Supreme chain that I believe is over 10 years old and been ridden on many a bike. I cleaned it up, polished it up. Buddy Tyler, shout out to, which Tyler is this? Tyler A. I'm going to say Tyler A. And if I think of it, no, Tyler W. Shout out Tyler W. hooking up the chain. Fits perfectly, cleaned it up. These chains literally, they last forever. They literally last forever. And they sound great. We have pegs on this one that come with it. 2 aluminum in the front, 1 aluminum in the back. This is actually an old school Hobie Doan peg, 4.75 in the back on the non-grind side, just the aluminum insert. And on the grind side, we have an Odyssey M peg. So you can feeble your heart away if you'd like and start all your flat ground tricks that you guys all start with a feeble. And you got your nice 4.5-inch MPEG in the back, man. So, and it's the 4140 chrome, which means it's not going to slide as fast. So you can just like hop up there, waste the feeble grind and then like hop into like your hang five or whatever you flatland guys do that I can't do, so I make fun of. I can't do it. I mean, I wish I could. That stuff's awesome. I was watching the Worlds the other day, and I was just the Feast Worlds. It's just crazy, man. The stuff those guys can do. I recommend that too. Look up Feast, spelled Fise, and like the Flatland BMX. It's from when I first saw Flatland to Flatland now. It is like above and beyond. So another thing important with Flatland that you may not know, these guys ride thin tires. They ride small tires, circular tires with an extreme amount of PSI, pounds per square inch, or bar, as the rest of the world would say. So I have these Maxxis hookworms, which I got a long time ago, and I was never able to use them because they're just so skinny, and I fell in love with fat tires right when fat tires came out. And then I kind of like went down and kind of like a medium fat tire, but couldn't find a great use for these. Found this bike, saw that the geometry was perfect for, flat ground, back ends, not too long, not too short, top tube, super short, great seat, great setup in the front, super adjustable, tight forks. These are brand new forks, vest cast. Sorry, I know I go back and forth, but the HD and the Primo Pro forks does not stand for Hobie Doan. Primo does have a lot of HD, like the pegs. This is a Primo HD peg, which means Hobie Doan peg, just like the tires. But these are the Primo HD forks, and I'm not quite sure what that HD stands for. I'm gonna have to look at that because these are not Hobie Doan's forks. He does not ride 13 millimeter offset forks. He'd probably kill himself. It's a steep fork. He probably rides like a 25 or 28. But okay, moving back, we were just talking about the M peg. Then we move in the front. I have two aluminum pegs. They are 225 9 pegs. They were an inexpensive aluminum peg with a good, I think it's like a 4.25 to 4.5 inch. It felt good standing on them. Foot stuck to them pretty good. And the wheels, I've spoken many times about these wheels, but they were my wheels, so I was not going to sell them. I wanted to ride them. However, I just recently realized that with what's happening with the injuries and the way things are going, I'm probably not going to be doing anything on a bike that I really need a planetary coaster for. As far as it's going to be going, sad as it is to say, it's probably just going to be cruising around on my BMX, then maybe get a 22. Before you know it, I'll have like a mountain bike and an e-bike. So that's how it goes. But we're going to not think about that right now, and we're just going to focus on someone else can rock these things. We have in the front, Stolen Low Pro rim. In the back, Stolen Low Pro rim. This is a brakeless frame. These are brakeless rims. They go together perfectly. Colin Verignac talks about the aesthetics of his premium Verignac rims. Let me tell you the aesthetics of these. His are 44 millimeters wide, I believe. That's a wide rim. The Stranger Crux XL is 42. So can you imagine all those chip marks and stuff that's going to be on those rims, like from grinding, unless you get like the fattest tires in the world, which premium does not make. And these are 38 millimeters wide, beautiful in between the 32, 34 that an Odyssey rim is, or the 36 that a G Sport is, but a little bit beefier and lighter. If you check them out, when they do have them, they sell out quick. I know Stolen isn't like, one of those brands that everyone's waiting for their next part to come out, but I was waiting for these to come out. Someone on the comment said, you undersold those rims, and he was right. I undersold them. These are the best rims I've probably ever run if you ride brakeless. The Stolen Low Pro rim. If you get a chance to get your hands on them, if you do ever happen to break them, whatever, you want to give me a review contrary to what I just said, please do. But if I had to pick a rim to run brakeless for the rest of my life, this is the rim I would pick. So shout out to Stolen on that one right there. Front hub is a We the People Helix on sale at Skate Pro. So laced them up. My guy laced them up. And on the back, we have the BSD Planetary. As I've told you before, I've never had an issue with the planetary. The reason I think there are problems with the planetary is because once you get used to that coaster feel of no pedal pressure, it's got to be hard to go back, because I rode a free coaster for just like a year. And when I hopped on this, I was able to adapt, but it wasn't super easy. So I can't imagine like a professional who's been like Devin Smiley or Ethan Corriere that's been riding free coaster for so long to be able to just hop on this and be like, yeah, pedal pressure. So many of their tricks and whatnot are from the free coaster. So perfect in between for them would be a hybrid coaster. So I know I have kind of talked down on, free coasters are dead technology and whatnot, which I do think the actual free coaster is. However, the hybrid, which is much lighter, and that's a huge benefit. And not just the fact that it goes from cassette to free coaster, but that when it's on cassette, I'm not going to say it makes that ratchet sound, because this doesn't do it. That's what you get. So when they say it sounds like a cassette, it doesn't sound like a cassette, but it does float backwards very nicely. And then you get not immediate pedal pressure on that one, but probably would have. Anyway, so not just the fact that it switches from cassette to free coaster, but that the free coaster is so much lighter on the hybrid. So I know Animal's coming out with one like the Tank Cubs, which looks super sick. And I'm thinking that maybe I'll give it a shot. I'm going to keep my mind open. I'm not going to be one of those BMX guys that just goes and, starts hating on something right away just because. So going to really try to change my outlook on that and get down to a few more parts. Sorry I took so long. This isn't the channel for you if you don't like to hear me ramble about just BMX and BMX stuff in general. I could just run through the bike parts real quick, but I prefer to talk about them. So as for the Maxxis hookworms, I know they're heavy, but I had them and I think they look cool. Nice hot stamps. The tubes inside the Maxxis are the E-Claw amp tubes. They have this cool gold press-to-valve-like looking thing with some alloy valve caps that are black. We have a set of 3-piece cranks on here that are sealed with 48 spline spindle, 19 millimeters. These are the Eastern throttle cranks. Very underrated crank, I believe. Great for a build like this. Why? Because they're very light. Don't really have to worry about them breaking. Eastern makes quality stuff. They make quality stuff. It's not as expensive and some of the stuff's lighter, but it's meant, their stuff is quality for what it is directed to be used for, which is a big mistake a lot of people make. Like, you can't go, getting a set of like super like G Sport bird cages, right? And then you're going to go ride some hard street and be like, break the rim, and then be like, my bird cage is broke, man. G Sport sucks. Should have got the rib cages, dude. Like, that's the reason. Or the roll cages. They have different levels, and whatever you want it, something to look better, function or fashion before function, go ahead. I prefer function before fashion, or function and fashion. Yeah, both. You can do both, man. Just do both. But you got to have that function, man. Function's got to be there. Okay, these are 170 millimeter cranks. Light use. I rode them very short amount of time. 19 millimeter spindle. We have a 25 tooth Shadow Crow sprocket. Go with this, and some Merit P1 red pedals to match. If you want a different set of colored pedals, that's fine too. Let me see. That's about it for now. Here's another something real cool about this build is that's where the logos are. By the way, the tires are 1.95 inch wide. This all works very well. Actually, it's the chain. You can kind of hear it because that thing is so beefy. I have some hub dusters on there, and I'm pretty sure I went through everything. So if you made it this long in the video and you are waiting to see who wins the next giveaways, because I'm going to talk about that now, here are the tenderizers. I have had 6 orders since my last talk of these. So whoever orders whatever, you should know what the rules are. next gets those. And after that, this is going to the 6th person that orders $50 or more worth of animal products. So get a set of animal cranks. These come with it. You get a set of animal bars. You get the socks with it. If you're the 4th person, I always send stickers with my stuff. So make sure if you want extra or something, ask for stickers. And that's going to be it for this one. This guy is being sold right now for $750. I have it for probably a nice, I don't know, $300, $400 discount from what you would normally pay for something like this. I'm going to set her here and come around and let you guys have a look up close. Extra rambling on this video. There's your Fly Fuego, 9-inch rise, 28-inch width. Tangent split stem, 45mm reach. Yes, you can invert it whatever way you'd like. That is made in the USA. And our animal highliner stem. Benny Lewis engraved. Step back a little, take forks. Yeah, those rims look nice. And there's a build for you guys. Hope you enjoyed this one. I'm out.